Hey everybody, it's Matthew, and we are going to do a little GPT magic here. We're using ChatGPT with some of our existing resources and tools. We are going to create an 18 to 24 month long email sequence for onboarding a buyer or seller. The sequence being unique to you, unique in general, and designed to get them back to your website and to you and to make appointments and do all those magical things we want to do. And an email sequence for an onboarding means that there is a series of emails from various types of approaches to be plugged into your CRM to go out in an automated format once you have created them. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do it in 3 steps. We're going to use ChatGPT to create your unique value proposition that can be used to create the emails. We are going to then define the buyer or the seller, and then we are going to give it one magical prompt that is going to create a downloadable spreadsheet with your unique 18 to 24 month plan, your email plan. They can then be added into your CRM and Moxie or whatever, and be used to engage the consumer for that period of time. All right, so let's go ahead and jump back in. Okay, so this first step is to have ChatGPT help us build its content, your value proposition, things that are unique to you, that will help it write emails that are, again, are unique to you and resonate with your consumer. Now, if you use ChatGPT a lot, if you're a pretty active user, you've been adding things to it for a while, asking questions as part of your workflow, you could do something as simple as, based on what you know of me as a real estate agent, please create a list of unique attributes that I can offer my home buyer and a home seller. Now, and it can be that simple. If you're not, if maybe you're just kind of getting new to this and you aren't quite comfortable with it, you can have this more expanded, and I will put this prompt down in the notes below here of the video. This is the expanded version where you are now training or at least directing ChatGPT as to what it needs to know about you to get this information. So, act as a professional real estate content writer. I'm a real estate agent, and I want to create a compelling list of unique attributes I offer to both home buyers and home sellers. Please help me identify what makes my service different from other agents by analyzing the materials that I'm going to provide. Use the following information to create a list of 8 to 10 unique attributes. These should highlight my approach, values, experience, communication style, and any tools or strategies I use to elevate the client experience. Organize the results under home buyers or seller. And then after that, you can drag in a PDF of your resume. You can put a link to your LinkedIn profile, a link to your Google reviews, because that's definitely what consumers have said about you, testimonial tree if you're using something like that, a link to your website, your brochures and buyer guides and seller guides, and anything that you have created either through a link to a website it can be indexed or a PDF. And then when you do that, you're going to get a really powerful result. Now, because I use this a lot, I'm going to go back to the version I have, and I'm not going to ask it for to add stuff, because again, you'll do that if you don't use this a lot. And I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. And it's going to think for a minute. Now, I do want to note here that we are using, and this video is being recorded on July 11th, 2025. The most current version of ChatGPT is 3.0. Now, this is why this makes a difference. 3.0 is a much deeper thinking, much more relevant information, because it does a deep dive on you and resources, your history, memory, and chat or whatever. If you want quicker results, you can go to 4.0. And if you're using the free version, you are probably going to default to 4.0 at this point. Believe it or not, 03 is a stronger model than 4.0. I don't understand. But I'm going to stick with 03 throughout this entire exercise because I got much better results. And then you'll see here, for home buyers, here are my value adds. And then for home sellers, here are my value adds. And that's just one example. You can ask questions. You can be more in tune with it. And one of the things that I would suggest is to use voice mode. Down here in the bottom, it says voice mode. You click here. And now you can say, hey, ChatGPT, I'd like more information, or fine tuning this information for me, or ask me 5 questions that you need to know to create better content. And she'll interview, or he'll, depending on what voice model you have, will interview you and ask questions. That's how you're going to get this unique value information. All right. Once we have that, we are then going to define who our buyer is. So I'm going to start a new chat because I've already done this part and there's no reason for you to sit here and watch me do it. Again, I'll put a link to this prompt down in the video section. So this prompt is titled Nurture Email Sequence AI Prompt for Home Seller. This is for the seller, obviously. And it says, I'm creating a nurture email campaign. Throughout this email sequence, find ways to highlight my unique attributes that I offer my clients. And then this is what you're going to add. Just a real quick paragraph, and you could use ChatGPT to fine tune this if you wanted to, but generally you can write a paragraph about what kind of buyers, or in this case, sellers that you like. So what I've said is my target seller audience is who I'm built to serve, what I'm caring about, who they are. Then the prompt goes on to say, I want you to create an email list, and I want you to have this. It needs to have an email subject line that is attention grabbing, 60 characters or less. An email header option. This is the headline of the email. This is going to be not the subject line. That's the first line. The second line is like the bold type at the top, letting them know what they're getting ready to read. And then I want an email body, and it should be at least 3 paragraphs written in the first person in a warm, friendly, and inviting tone. I want a call to action button or link attached to the bottom. And I also made a few notes here. Now, this is unique to me. You are going to edit this the best that you'd like. No exclamation points. Those drive me nuts. Do not use dream home. That drives me crazy. Focus on our relationship with a client being in a partnership with me, this is their journey, and that reference me as their guide. And then write the following emails for the campaign. They need to last 24 months. The average buyer or seller will initiate contact with an agent about 18 to 24 months in the early segment of their journey. So we want to have at least 2 years of content there. And then I'm going to have it in a couple categories. I want an educational email. Some of the emails be educational. And I want to share our rich resources with the customer, highlighting my website, pulling information from the site, what you know of me, and information home buyers, in this case, home sellers, actually. We'll change that there. Should know about the process, the problem-solving emails, create emails helping them identify problems and then solve them. I'm a big fan of the Story Brand Framework by Donald Miller, which is a great marketing tool. So I'm going to ask it to use that as a reference. And a product emails. I want benefit-driven emails about how I will help them in the home, in this case, again, seller, reach their goals. Now we'll say here, you've obviously seen me change buyer to seller a couple of times. That's all you're going to do the next time. You'll use the same prompt, replace seller with buyer. Your paragraph describing who your ideal client is will be buyer instead of seller, and then let it rip. And says, please create an Excel spreadsheet that I can download that has a subject line and the email in one column, the header in another column, the body text in another column, and the number of days from start to finish in the sequence. And you can then say, and this, by the way, I'm asking it to download an Excel spreadsheet. I may ask it instead to create a link to a Google Sheets page. If you don't have Excel, that's okay. Google Sheets will be just fine, because then you can export it to CSV and then import it into your CRM. And then I just copied and paste, and I tweaked it a little bit from what it told me, but here is the attributes I got from the very first step when I asked it to describe my value proposition. And I just copied this in here, and now I'm going to save this so I can use it later for other projects. And when I hit send and submit, again, I'm using the O3 model, which means it's going to take a little bit longer. It's going to take about 3, maybe 5 minutes, depending on how much content you've given and how much you used the ChatGPT system. Okay, now that took about 3 to 4 minutes, which seems like an eternity, but it was churning away and it came up with some great content. So it created this response here. It told me, here's what you asked for. And then I scroll down here and here's what it came. So 2 minutes, 21 seconds is what it came to. And then it gave me a couple options here to either download the spreadsheet. It gave me the spreadsheet result, right? Here's the tables here that I can look at. And you can download it from here if you want a raw table. Or you can click here to download the Excel spreadsheet, or click here to go to Sheets. So we're going to click there and go over to Sheets. And then here we go. Here is our 24-month program. So you're going to see here is the subject line. Here is the lead header that goes in right before the body. Here's the email that goes in the body. Here is the date it needs to be sent, so that it already tells you what the preferred way is. Now, these are a little shallow. In other words, there's only 3 or 4 sentences here, so I'd probably come back and fine tune those, but it gives me a starting point to then go add my resources and tools. That email sequence is being, remember, designed by this PhD level brain of this marketer here to give us the template to go by. And again, that one was a little light, just, not always perfect. In some of the content, I think I would want things a little deeper, maybe 1 or 2 paragraphs. And so I can go back and go, this is really good. Let's redo the same exercise, but I need 2 paragraphs per email that are meaningful, and it'll create the new thing. But that's it. Now I can take that, again, if you're using Google Sheets, you can just export it. I can go to download rather, and generally speaking, CSV is going to be what your CRMs are looking for. I can download that into an Excel CSV file, which I can go then to the CRMs and upload through that sequence. And now I have an email campaign to start for my sellers, and I'll go back and do the same thing for buyers. And I would say, I'm focusing on sellers and buyers here, but it could be new construction buyers is a different segmentation, and it would create content just for them, or investors, or whomever you would like. You'll go through the same exercise once you have this content to build this email campaign. So go play with it, have fun, and happy marketing.